Greetings, Diane Cox here, back for another video. This time I'm going to be talking about the lunar eclipse, which is happening around the 25th of March, which is for me tomorrow at GMT 7 in the morning. 7 in the morning is kind of when it all gets to its great fullness. And I put that graphic up, that image up at the beginning of this video so you can see what happens during a lunar eclipse. You have the sun, then the earth, and then the moon lined up, and the earth acts as an obstacle to the light from the sun hitting the moon. Obviously, in the ancient times, we would be very tuned into that. We'd feel the pull of the energies of the planets and the sun being opposite the moon and the kind of earth in the middle amongst all that kind of cosmic energy and the ebb and flow of the gorgeous planetary space and beyond and whatever. So we'd feel that pull, we'd feel the kind of planets, we're made of water. You've got the moon and the moon's tides and the gravitational ebb and flow. You've got the energetic thing going on with the sun. You've got massive coronal ejections at the moment. There's been a few lately, so you've got the sun, like shooting these flares out and hitting Earth and all this kind of, all this energy coming in. So, and the Earth is between the sun and the moon. So in old times, the ancient times, I'd really be kind of tuned into this because they were tuned into nature. We've been kind of encouraged to get away from nature by many decades of mental programming and urban kind of development and all kinds of stuff. Won't get into that. So just have a think a minute about how it will affect you. If you know about your astrology, you'd be looking at where Libra is in your chart, because the full moon is in Libra. And then you've got the axis of the sun in Aries, and then you've got the earth between it all. So here's what to think about for you when you're thinking about the eclipse. The sun is the ego, the energy, the vitality, the identity. It's like how you shine your personality onto the world. And then you've got the sun. So just imagine the sun just physically shining its light on the earth. Now what's quite interesting is obviously half of the earth will be lit and in sunshine, and then obviously the other half that gets to see this stuff during the night or the morning or early evening get to see. So you've always has got this polarized earth thing going on. And then the earth, everything on earth blocks the light of the sun onto the moon. Now in astrology, the sun is the masculine, it's the logic, it's the kind of, it's like that feeling of, okay, let's work this out and let's think of it depending on where your sun is. The moon is receptive, the sun is giving, it's ejecting all its energy out. The moon is receiving. Okay, the moon is the mind, the moon is how we react, the moon is emotions, the moon is that kind of feeling, it's a nurturing, caring kind of lunar aspect, the moon is lunacy. Okay, so you've got the earth coming along kind of blocking this flow between the sun and the moon, casting a shadow onto the moon. Cast the earth, humanity and earth and all the beautiful things of earth and humanity is kind of blocking that. It's casting a shadow onto the mind. It's casting a shadow onto that caring, nurturing receptiveness, okay? It plunges that aspect of us into shadow. And like I say, in the old times, people would have been really tuned in and feeling this and kind of using it as a time of transformativeness regarding, okay, how am I feeling here? What's going on? And because the full moon is in Libra, Libra is about one-to-one relationships. Anyone you have a one-to-one relationship with, often it gets kind of overviewed as marriages and that kind of one-to-one relationship. But it can be the relationship you have with your banker, your counsellor, you know, your some certain types of friends. The seventh house Libra is can be to do with some legal contracting and stuff. It's one-to-one relationships that really are kind of, you know, that there's this lovely kind of thing going on between two people, or not so lovely in some cases. Libra is ruled by Venus. So during this eclipse, you've got this Venusian, beautiful Venusian energy of, you know, Venus and Libra are about diplomacy. Okay, about seeing both sides of an issue. It's about kind of, Libra is about being in balance, being in harmony, not wanting to hurt anyone, always seeing, you know, the two sides of the debate, being a bit indecisive. Okay, Libra is luxury. It's kind of liking the good things in life. It's always wanting harmony and balance. Okay, and so this eclipse is kind of putting a shadow, you know, the shadow self into activation mode. So you could be going deep and thinking about, okay, what's going on here for me in my relationships, my one-to-one relationships? How do I want to redefine those? How do I want to clean those up? How do I want these to go forward? What communication needs to go on? Because obviously, well, not obviously, the eclipse, the lunar eclipse, the moon in Libra is opposite the sun in Aries, and the sun in Aries is about self-identity. It's about kind of the sun, and this will really come up in the eclipse on the 8th of April. The sun in Aries is about me and going forward and getting what I want, and courage and bravery, and sometimes being too blunt, too brash, moving forward. And you've got these two opposite each other. And this shadow from the earth, from humanity, is like, okay, my emotions are being shadowed, and the way I'm thinking, my mind is kind of thinking maybe more shadow kind of things, and the reality and truth that sometimes we want to turn against, you know, and turn away from because it's a little bit uncomfortable. So this eclipse is a very good time to, you know, if you can, put your phones down and get off the computer for a bit and sit with kind of something that represents the moon, and, you know, do some lovely breathing exercises about breathing in that which you want to amplify, breathing out which you want to let go of. Really sit in the energy of things that come up for you, and think about what is working with your relationships, your one-to-one relationships. If you want to move away from certain relationships that don't suit you anymore, it could be something simple as like changing your dentist or your doctor, you know. Or it could be something deep like your actual kind of marriage or your long-term relationship, where you think things need to change. I need to kind of face this. I need to really sit that this isn't working, or what do I want to do next with this kind of relationship, and really get into the whole vibe of it. Just think, okay, I mean, like I say, you've got the solar flares going on, and you've got Jupiter and Uranus coming closer and closer, this unexpected happenings from all kinds of areas, and in your life and in the global kind of picture. So it's going to be interesting regarding the global picture, because you've also got, you know, this affects everybody, subtly for some people and really quite profoundly for others. So I wanted to just do a little card here, just to pick up the energy. So, you know, Libra is all about the scales, isn't it? It's about justice. It's about balance. It's that, like I say, diplomacy, seeing other sides of the story. Being, maybe that might be the case with the one-to-one relationships, just sitting down and having a chat about different points of view, and, you know, Venus and Aphrodite with that shadow on her. And it's time to kind of see unreflected light what is different. Okay, so let's have a little look here. Let us have a look. Our ancestors would be so in tune with it. you know, like, oh, they'll be picking it all up and really using it to their advantage, because this is like an inroad to what's happening on the 8th of April, which is a real big one. I'll do a separate video on that. But just a card today about what, okay, let's ask for, okay, anyone who watches this video, this card, give them a little bit of guidance and grounding for the eclipse energy. Everyone will feel it differently according to your chart and where Venus is in your chart, as I say. If you don't know your chart, you can go on to astro.com, get a free chart, put your, okay, oh, okay. Oh, this is quite interesting. 2 fell out, okay, 2 cards fell out. This is the first one. The Devil, okay, and as you can see with the Devil card, it's being kind of played a merry tune. It's being kind of led down a garden path, maybe against your will, or again, talk about mass hypnosis. It's a card of fighting your inner lower base energy, which is quite an interesting card to get for an eclipse, because this really is what it's all about. It's about facing up to the dark shadow of self and the dark shadow of other people, feeling like, you know, are you manipulating people, or are you feeling manipulated? The thing about the Devil card that I always say, you know, here you have Pan leading them a merry dance, playing his pan pipes, and a bit, you know, a bit like who was the Pied Piper who took all the rats out of the I know we're not rats, but you know, it's kind of in the Rider-Waite and in this one, basically these people are free to take those chains off at any point, free to walk away and free to choose not to be led down this path, not to be, not to give in to their baser instincts, not to give into that kind of, you know, those things that we don't like about ourselves, or the things that we wish we wouldn't do, or other people didn't do. So if you are a manipulator, maybe ask yourself why do you have to control everything and manipulate people? And if you feel like you're being manipulated, obviously that very wonderful thing that no is a complete sentence, just to say no and stand up for yourself and your own wonderful dreams and desires. So that's very interesting that the Devil comes up for the eclipse, the lunar eclipse. Ooh, okay. And that shadow, it is all that shadow stuff coming up to be dealt with, and it's lovely dealing with the shadow. And one thing I always think about the shadow self is, once you integrate it and give it something to do and love it, and you kind of take control of it instead of it controlling you, things can go very well. And the other card that came up, which is quite fascinating, is this. So in this deck, this is the Mythic Tarot deck. This King of Pentacles represents King Midas. You know, everything you touch turned to gold. That's what he wished for, that everything he touched turned to gold. He wasn't a bad bloke, King Midas. He wasn't a bad man. He was just, you know, he was kind of kind, and he was kind of just a little bit misguided, because what happens is he wanted everything to turn to gold. It did. And then he realized that every time he tried to eat, he couldn't, because it turned to gold, and he soon asked the spell to be reversed, and realized the folly of his ways. So think about that. He wished for something, didn't really think it through, wished that, you know, why he wanted all this gold. It's a great tale, King Midas, isn't it? And it's like, well, why did you wish for that? Of all the things you could have wished for, of all the intelligent things the king could have wished for, you know, really, wishing for everything to turn to gold is a devil thing, isn't it? It's like, oh, really? Is that the best? Is that it? You know, that you just want everything to turn to gold? There's a little bit of a kind of base low kind of energy, isn't it? Money, 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 gold, 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 gold. But that's the world we kind of tend to. We've been kind of, our minds have been moulded over decades and decades to think of certain things. You have to have a strong mind these days to kind of fight it. So these are the two cards that have come up for the eclipse. Okay, so be careful what you wish for. Think about what you're wishing for and why. Think about the consequences. Okay, and then think about your shadow self, the dark self, things that you want to change about yourself, to become even more of the potential you were born with. You know, like I always say with astrology, it's the most fantastic thing for self-discovery, understanding yourself and understanding others. So if you're in a marriage, a partnership, whatever, it's really good to help understand your partners, your family, your mothers, your kids. Some people have a thing about doing kids charts, but I think it really helps bring out the best in them and you know, see what their strengths are. So have a great eclipse, feel it. Do some lovely lunar work, breathe in that which you want to amplify, breathe out that which you want to let go of. Really try and find a few minutes just to sit in the vibe of the eclipse, like they did in the old days, like your ancestors would, and look up at the sky at this lunar eclipse. It's a magical thing. And then I'll be back with another video talking about the really big solar eclipse on the 8th of April. So enjoy and feel the vibe, and I will see you soon. Take care now.